Hello everyone. Welcome to another session of Sellers United. In tonight's session, we're going to be talking about all things Helium 10, all things product research with Shivali Patel, who's joining us live. We're going to be able to answer all of your questions as well. Not only that, we're going to be definitely using a tool which most of you know. I talk about it all the time, and it's Helium 10. It's important to understand that not only are tools going to make your life easier, but it's also important to understand that tools help you do any task, whether it be product research, keyword research, or things that are unrelated to Amazon, things in everyday life. They help you do these tasks much smarter. And that's what everybody, in an era where everything is AI and chat GPT, that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for that small edge that can help us compete with other people. It's also very important to note that tools are great, but just like a car that can take you from point A to point B, you need to know how to drive. So a tool is also fantastic, but you need to know how to use it in order to get to or to get the results that you want. Let's get started with our small introduction, and then we'll have Shivali on board as well.
Welcome to another episode, a live episode of Sellers United Summer Edition, right here on the Amazon Sellers Society YouTube channel. Let's get started.
Shivali, oh my God, why are you so small? Here. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, we've done these multiple times, these videos together, but this is the first time we've ever gone live. So I'm very, very excited to be able to, for you to be able to answer everyone's questions.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much for having me back on. These are always such a blast, and I'm looking forward to delivering value to those of you that are watching. Getting started in Amazon just as a beginner seller is such an exciting time of your journey because it's the start of many more exciting things to come. So congratulations on taking that first step. And yeah, I'm here to really do what Crystal said, and that's to show you how to drive your car.
Exactly. So thank you for everyone that's joining us live and for everyone who's leaving comments. And if you're watching this on the replay, also thank you so much for watching. So Shivali, without further ado, please, I'll hand it over to you.
All right. So, what I'm going to do is share my screen. And I
Mhm.
figured we could just do this together. So, if you have a Helium 10 account, I encourage you to open it up. So that way you're following along, you're getting acquainted with the tools. And then any questions you have, of course, you can drop them in the comments, and Crystal and I can get to them and answer them. So, what I'm going to do is go ahead and present. Let's do that here. Hopefully I can do my entire screen. And Crystal, if you could just when it pops up, let me know that you can see it.
Sure.
All right.
Let me add it to the stream. There you go.
Perfect. All right. So the first page I have pulled up is actually more informational than it is anything else. What you are currently looking at is which tools are supported in which markets. Now, I know many of you guys have been asking questions about the UAE, or maybe you're based somewhere else. You always want to do research for the market that you plan to sell in, meaning, even though I'm about to conduct research in the American market, I will show you how you can change marketplaces, and you will want to actually adjust it to the one that you want to sell in. Now, if you just type in which tools are supported Helium 10, you'll actually pop up with this page, which will go through and tell you exactly which of our tools are available where. Now, if you didn't know, Helium 10 has tools for everything, ranging from product research into keyword research, listing optimization, operations, marketing, and so much more. So we have over 30 plus tools. And what you use ultimately depends on where you are in your business, but hopefully you can stack up. And as you stack up, you'll see the entire variety of tools that we really have. You can see right here, we're looking at United States. So we have the North and South American markets, we have European markets, we have for the Middle East and African markets as well, and then the Far East and Indian markets too. So let me know in the comment section, where are you guys tuning in from? What market do you plan to sell in? And are you just getting started? Are you established a little bit? I'd love to know and get to know you a little bit more. Let's go ahead and jump into a demo. So we're currently taking a look at the Helium 10 dashboard. All right. So if you guys open up your dashboard, you will be on the main page. And when we're talking about product research specifically, right, let's go ahead and start there because I know I see some beginners here. You have the product research section right here underneath tools. And Blackbox is our primary Amazon product research tool. Keep in mind, you can do product research anywhere. You can be in a store and you can say, hey, this is a really cool product. Let me check it out on Amazon. And then you can use our Chrome extension to figure out exactly what the established sales is, what the competition looks like. Is it something you can compete in? And then, of course, figure out if it's going to be a profitable product. But you can also go in manually into Amazon and do the same thing. However, I've done that. And as somebody who's done that, I'll tell you that a tool like Blackbox can really save you a lot of time, effort, and money. And that is because you are provided with filters. The whole point of these filters is to help you narrow in on the things that are important to you. So maybe when you're just getting started, you have a certain amount of capital that you want to invest, right? You're working with a budget and you know that you are going to have to be a little bit wary of the price points. So, what you can do is go in and set a number for the actual price range. Now, the price range is not going to be what you end up paying for landed cost, meaning the price of the actual product plus shipping and all that stuff. This is going to be retail price. But let's say I were to put in a minimum of maybe $25, right? That's going to give me substantial profits, not going too low. But then if I did something like a max of 120, well, why might I want to do a max of 120? Well, because I know that if I go a little bit more expensive for the price range for the product, then I might end up finding products that are things like electronics or that are larger. And I won't necessarily have the capital to invest upfront in something like that, which is where these filters really come into play. So that is just one example. You can use these filters as you would like or as you feel is going to really help you find a product that fits your criteria, but it's also going to give you the opportunity to compete and gain sales. Let's talk a little bit about these tabs. Before I go into any of these other filters, we'll talk about what these tabs mean and how you can switch over these marketplaces. Because I see there's quite a few people here that are UAE, and then I also have MyF in Europe and UAE. So let's talk about those things. All right. What you are looking at right now is the products tab, and you have quite a few others. You have keywords, competitors, niche, product targeting, and elite analytics. I'm going to focus on these first two. If you end up being on the products tab and you use these criteria and click search, what you will essentially end up finding is going to be something like this. So it's going to take you into not this, not this, which is going to be a product page. All right. So when you click search and you're underneath the products tab, it gives you product pages, meaning let's say that I went in and I said, all right, for number of images, I don't want to see more than 3 images, but I do want to see products that are actually generating quite a few dollars in revenue or whatever currency you're selling in, right? I can end up finding listings that are not quite optimized, but will still be generating sales. What does that mean for you? Well, if you go in and you just abide by Amazon's best practices, meaning you do have a good number of images, maybe you're utilizing that A plus content below and the bullet points are good, then you can go in and automatically start having more sales than hopefully that product does. And again, keep in mind that we already put in a monthly revenue, meaning if this unoptimized listing that only has a max of 3 images is still making, let's say, 3,000, 4,000, whatever you have in mind, right, that you want to make, and it's already doing that with an unoptimized listing, think about what it would do for an optimized listing. So that's sort of the lens or eye that I want you guys to look at this with. We also have the products tab. Now, both of these products and the keywords tab has this little toggle. So for those of you that are in the UAE market or you're planning to sell in the UAE market, or even like Maya, who has Europe and UAE, you can go in and toggle into any of these European markets based off where you're selling. And you will always, like I said, want to do research where you plan to sell because every market is drastically different. Things that work in the US might not work in Germany, things that work in UAE might not work in Spain. and vice versa, right? So make sure you go in and you toggle. And let's go ahead and talk about the keywords tab. So, the keywords tab, you have all these filters. You don't have to use all of them, but I do recommend that you play around with them and start finding products that way. This is meant to be a starting point for you. So, you can go in and find things that have the potential to be your product. But this, again, is a starting point. So, you will want to find a list of 15 to 20 products, let's say. And as you're doing that, you'll want to go through different filters to essentially find different products. And the beauty of black boxes is you'll end up finding things you didn't even really know existed. So I'll show you an example of that as we walk through a really fast demo here. Search volume is a great indicator of opportunity, meaning these are things that people are already searching for. One of the greatest advantages of working or selling on Amazon, right, is there are already people who know about it. So it already has established credibility. And as you are starting to sell on Amazon, there are already people that are going there and searching for those products. So you just have to capitalize on that by getting front and center of those people. And how do you do that? You find keywords that people are typing into that search bar every single month. And so if I were to type in, let's say, a minimum of, and since I'm in the American marketplace, I'm typing in a minimum of 3,000. But if you're in a different marketplace, some of those that aren't necessarily as big just yet, you can absolutely go for a lower search volume. The search volume can sometimes, I have seen it be lower, and it'll be something like 400 for search volume. And you think that, okay, maybe that's like not too many people searching for it every month, but you'll be surprised because there's still a good number of keyword sales coming from that. So it really depends on the marketplace as well as the niche. So if you are hyper focused on a specific niche, meaning a very specific product, right? For example, our test listing at Helium 10 is a coffin shelf. Now, that's a very morbid product, right? Not everyone's going to be interested, right, Crystal? Like, not everyone's interested in something like that. But it is such a specific niche. There are people that are actually actively looking for it. So people that are interested in Halloween or gothic decor or witchy decor, or maybe they like healing crystals and just having a nice place to put it on. It's very specific. And so the search volume for those keywords might not be the greatest, but they make good sales. So just keep that in mind as you put in something for search volume. You also have monthly revenue. As I mentioned before, that's just how much that product is really making on a average basis. You have your price point, which is retail price, your review count, so how many reviews a product might have. You can put in, this is the average number of reviews across the board for that keyword. You have your review rating, so average number of rating. Most of us don't like buying less than 4.5. I mean, the higher the better. I love seeing products that are 4.8, 4.9, and that automatically is like, all right, this is gonna be a good product, especially if it has several hundred reviews. You have your word. I see Crystal agrees. Yeah. Let me know in the chat. Do you guys agree? Awesome. I see we have a North American, Australian market too.
Yes, Sevilla.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Glad to have you. We have the word count. So why might word count be important? Well, buyer intent. If I type in something like office, I am browsing. I'm trying to figure out, well, what can I put in my office? What's going to maybe look good in my office? But if I type in a black microphone or black podcast microphone with arm, I am looking for something very specific. And what kind of key phrase is that? That is a long tail keyword, meaning it's full of multiple words because the consumer is more likely looking for something very specific. And you can do that as you start going longer. What did you say, Crystal?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you will want to go in and potentially add in something like, oh, I want a minimum of 2, or maybe I want a maximum of 6. I don't want to find those super long keywords. It's really up to you because you're browsing initially on Blackbox. You can end up saying, all right, you know what? I'm fine with seeing items that are 1 or 2 words. And then maybe once I have a feel for it, I can go a little bit deeper, but it's really up to you. I'm just putting in a minimum of 2 for this example here. We have categories. Crystal, do you want to actually help me choose some categories so people know this is live?
Yeah, sure. Let's choose. I think everybody's favorite category in the UAE is electronics, but let's
Oh
avoid
yeah.
that because that's like a little bit complicated. How about home and kitchen?
Yeah, we could do home and kitchen. We can actually
Okay.
do
Yeah,
electronics too. It's no problem. I just hope not a bunch of phone cases pop up.
exactly. That's
All right, we'll
a
see. We'll
bunch of
see.
phones.
We'll see. We'll just keep it at 2 for now. Doesn't really matter. And then if anything, we can go out and switch it out. And that
Of
is
course.
a great lesson for you guys, right? Because that's exactly what you'll want to do. You'll want to go through, find things, say, all right, maybe I want to change this out a little bit. You can do that. You have keyword search and exclude keywords. This is great for seasonality. Maybe you want to prepare for Q4, where if you are in the American markets, maybe you know that Christmas is coming up and you want to cater to that, then you can do that. Or you know that, hey, you know what? I want to find something that's evergreen, that's going to last throughout the seasons, and I can always sell it. So maybe I want to exclude things like Santa Claus or Christmas or trees if it's coming up, right? You have your shipping size tier. So if you want, you can absolutely go ahead and pick the size tier. Excuse me. Then I have number of sellers. So if I put in a
Mhm.
maximum of 2, I can start focusing in on those products that are private label. If I put in a minimum of 2, I can start finding those arbitrage sellers. So maybe you're flipping products, then that's an option for you right there through number of sellers. You have your variation count. So how many variations? Maybe you have a lot of capital you want to invest. And you think, you know what? I'm going to go and do a bunch of different sizes or colors for something. I can start finding that. Or this is more for your arbitrage sellers. If any of you guys are arbitrage, then you can go in and start finding things that have many variations. You have your monthly sales, best sellers rank, how new or old that product is. Maybe you want to use something like age for, hey, I want to find a product that has a couple in the market that maybe they're brand new, but they're still making like $2,000 in revenue. And then I want to change that out and see, okay, well, like what's the other end of that where they've been here for a little bit of time, but they're still making money or they're scaling, right? So I can start finding those products that, yes, they're making sales even when they get started, and they're able to actually scale that product once they've been established. So you can use
Mhm.
these things in conjunction. Let's just cover a few more here and then move on. Click search. But we have title density,
Oh,
which is
the concept of the advanced filters is the fact that Helium 10 is created for all levels and all types of
yes.
sellers. So you can go as in depth as you want with the advanced filters, or you could just keep it simple if you're not really, if you don't have a plan or if you don't have a goal, just, cast as wide a net as possible and then start harvesting. But you can also, if you're looking for something really specific, like Shivali is giving all of these, great explanations, then you could just use all of those advanced filters. Yeah, but just use them because they make life easier, I guess. Yeah, right.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
Man, I spent 4 months looking for a product manually. Do you know how much time I would
yeah,
have saved if I just did this? And actually,
exactly.
since then, I've looked for new products, and I'm even right now, I'm in the process of launching a new brand. So the thing is when I use Black Box, it's so much simpler. Like I'm pretty sure I found this
Mhm.
product on my first couple of searches, and it was part of a short list, but I was quickly able to narrow that down afterwards because you can just validate that product idea, and once you feel like you're ready to run with it, you can take all of the complexity out of that decision because you are backed by sales and data, real data. Let's
Exactly. Yeah.
let's go ahead. I see
Mhm.
arbitrage is the best.
Yeah.
I think there's pros and cons to both, but they're both absolutely worth it. I think there's nothing quite like selling on e-commerce or being on the e-commerce journey. So
Yeah.
absolutely. The title density feature. All right. So title density is going to take a look at how many products on that first page. So let's say I'm going to just use the coffin shelf idea because that's our test listing, anyways. You guys can take a look at it. So if I were on this page, right, it's going to tell me how many products on this first page have the keyword that pops open in results in the actual title. And this means that if I typed in, let's say, a minimum of or maximum of 2 products, right, has the keyword, let's say the keyword or key phrase coffin shelf popped open in the results here, it would mean at least 2 of the products on that page have the keyword coffin shelf actually in the title. And what does that do? That helps you rank a lot easier. Meaning, in the long run, once you have that product up and listed, or maybe you already have it listed and you're starting to optimize, you can go in and find those keywords that are relevant, that have search volume, but maybe they're not in the title yet. And you can start picking and choosing, so that way you can start indexing and ranking for those keywords that will help you generate sales, that even though your competitors might not have them in their title, you can start taking advantage of. You have your broad reach potential. And then these last few here: competitive revenue, reviews, and rating. Now, what is really different about that from the top? Well, this is more of an average. This is going to take a look at the top 10 positionings. So it's going to take a look at excluding the sponsored position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's going to take a look at those top 10 positions on a search results page and tell me how many of them actually fit this criteria. So let's say I typed in a minimum of 2 products, have less than 150 reviews in the top 10 positions. Or maybe I want to see a minimum of 2 products are making more than 2,500 in revenue in the top 10 products. That is really what it's doing for me here. And then you also have your competitor ratings, same exact thing. Let's go ahead and click search.
Yeah. Let's see some results.
Yeah, and this is still quite a broad search. So here I have 200 plus keywords. I actually like to go down and narrow this down to,
Yeah.
maybe 100 products, because I'm not going to have time to really sit there and go through 200 plus products. And I absolutely could go through those keywords, right? Not products, but keywords. I could go through those keywords. However, the point of these filters is to save you that time and effort. So I would recommend just actually going back in and even trying to narrow this search down and see if we can come up with something. Or maybe instead of, see, check this out. I did not put anything related to our coffin shelf even in. This it's not pulling from the information I have open in my other tab. But look at this, Gothic decor.
Yeah.
Gothic decor is one of our keywords that we actually target for the coffin shelf. So it's so fascinating that it would pop open here, because, as I said before, this you would think is a hyper niche, right? That not everyone's interested in it. But even then, it has 15,000 searches every single month, which is incredible. And
Yeah.
if you click the graph, you have access to the historical information of that. So over all time, right? Look at this peak. I would think that this would be in, isn't this so strange to you? This would be October, but it's August and September.
I guess people think about decorating their homes in August and September.
Yeah, they're so much better than me, because I'm always like, it's
Yeah.
October 29th, and then I'm like, oh, I should decorate for Halloween.
They're not thinking, yeah. Or they could be just buying random decor. Some
Yeah.
people are organized, Shivali. Some people are organized with their decor. So,
Or this could be when the Addams Family came out on Netflix. I don't know if any of you
could
guys
be.
watched that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's super interesting, because Black Box will allow you this historical information that if you go through and you look at it, some things will surprise you. Like, this definitely is not what I expected to see for Gothic decor. But here we are. And we have a lot of additional information here. So we have the price point, right? We put in an average. So just keep in mind, if you put, we didn't put in an average. But if I had put in, let's say 25 to 120 or something like that, let's go ahead and, we have 200 plus keywords anyways. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So we'll change out the information a little bit. Yeah, there you go. If I do that, then what I'm going to end up finding is a range. So let's say on the first page, I have products that are $14, then I have like $130 range. It will average it out to that price point that you put in. So here, you'll always want to take a look at the actual search result for this page. You won't just want to take a look at it. So Lazy Boy, it's in home and decor. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm assuming it's not an actual person. There you go. There it is. That's a couch. Maybe not something really I'm interested in sourcing. It's quite big. It's too bulky. And then I decide, you know what? Let's narrow this down to like $80 or something. And hopefully you guys are taking a look at this and you're able to understand what I mean by you open it up, go broad, and then start narrowing things down. You have Sutera Batstone Mat. I've never even heard about this. You can see that the monthly revenue is about 150K. You have 7,000 in monthly sales, a BSR of 38,967. Nobody is using this actual keyword inside of their title, and the reviews don't look so hot. So let's figure out what this is. It looks pretty simple, right? And the thing is with something simple, it's going to be a little bit harder to differentiate. And not to say that you can't make sales, but I typically like to find products that are going to be versatile. You can actually add something to the market. You can stand out in the photos. You can um, still be profitable regardless, and that it is being searched for quite a few times. So there's quite a few things you can use to further validate this idea. But what I'm going to do here is just open up a few of these ideas and we can take a look at them together and then talk a little bit
Sure.
about product validation.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like the Bathstone mat. Let's check this out. I don't know what this is. This looks like it's a brand name GPA, or no, this looks Spanish, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Spanish. Okay. Let's go into something else. We have the donut pillow for tailbone pain.
That's interesting.
Yeah, right? This is interesting. This is also very similar to my first product. My first product was a knee
Is it?
pillow. Yeah. My
Oh, okay.
very, very first product was a knee pillow. Yeah. But these things are super helpful. So interesting. We'll keep that one open. We have about 8,000 in search volume. You have a price point of $25, probably will cost you like $3 or
Wow.
$4, I would think, to source.
Mhm.
Not that great of a rating. So I feel like we could maybe add something to that market, right? It's pretty standard. I feel like these reviews are a little bit lower. Candlestick holders. We have the Snorlax beanbag chair. Sometimes let's check out these holders. Are they unique or are they just simple? Pretty simple. Okay.
Very simple. Yeah.
Imagine if we combine some of these keywords, like if we combine Gothic decor with
Hmm.
candlestick holders,
Hmm.
be something. You have your humidifier for large room, bath towels clearance, couch cushions, tension shelf. What is a tension shelf?
What is attention? I. Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. The
Oh, that's
closet.
interesting. I would have never thought of searching for this product with the keyword tension shelf. That's
Yeah, me
interesting.
too. I didn't
Yeah.
realize you could just buy these items.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Okay. Interesting. And
It's so cool nowadays to try to figure out how people are finding these particular keywords to search for products.
mhm,
And I think like social media, especially TikTok, is definitely a main driver. Like if anybody does like a TikTok where it goes viral and they call the product tension shelf, just exactly what happened with the fruit roll-ups,
mhm.
just like the search volume goes crazy. But the
Yeah.
cool thing with Helium 10 is that you could see the history so that you can try to validate whether this is like a viral TikToky product or if it's something that is in demand for quite some time.
Yeah. I do wonder, what does the history of this one look like if it's newer? I didn't realize it was called tension shelf. I mean, it looks like it's
Me
pretty
neither.
steady. It started peaking
Mhm.
in 2019 and then it's kind of just been in the
Yeah.
thousands. So it's pretty good. And what I
Maybe
do
it's a
like to
new
see,
a new style or new design that people are discovering. Yeah.
yeah, and
Mhm.
I actually do like the fact that not all the products on this page are the same. So not
Exactly. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they do have the same functionality. Maybe like
But
this
very
one I don't
different.
feel is relevant. The clothing rack is just not what
Definitely.
they're. So somebody who types in tension shelf is not going to come to this and be like, "Hey, you know what? Like this is what I'm going to buy," because
Yeah.
this is not what they're looking
Yeah.
for.
Yes.
But
Yes.
and
So
even
there
here,
are a lot of gaps. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
yeah, even this is not a
Mhm.
tension shelf, but they're sponsoring. I don't know. That's really interesting to me. But you have this one that's relevant, this one that's relevant, this one that's relevant. So it makes me feel like, okay, this could be something. Let's just keep it open. We have the fan, stackable bins, AirTag tracker, fold away fan. Anyways, let's just work with the two that we have open, right? And we'll talk a little bit about those in depth for the sake of time. But what you can do, as you saw, right? We go through, we take a look at the actual Amazon product pages by clicking this little dots icon and then opening up the page, taking a look at what it is, getting a feel for the market, the price point, and also taking a look at these things based off the criteria that we put in. And then once you have a few ideas, like I said, you will want to find 15 to 20 product ideas that you're like, all right, this could be something. Let's further validate this idea. Then you can go into the Amazon pages for those keywords, right? And what you can do is open up the Chrome extension. So if you don't have access to the Chrome extension, it's www.helium10.com/extension. All right. And when you type that in, you'll be able to click add to Chrome. Mine says remove from Chrome, but you can click add to Chrome. And when you have that installed, what you can essentially end up doing is opening it up, and you have access to quite a few tools, even inside of the Chrome extension itself. And 3 of these will work on the search results page like this. And then if you are on a actual product page, so let's go ahead and open up this coffin shelf. Where is our coffin shelf? There it is. So if you are on a product page, then you can open it up and all of these will work. And I'll show you how you can utilize both of these to validate your product idea. So let's go back to the coffin shelf here. Or not coffin shelf, tension shelf. Wow, I'm getting very confused from the shelves. But all right, so we're on the tension shelf here. Let's take a look at what the background is. I see someone says tension shelf is interesting as a keyword. Yes, I agree.
Shivali, while we're looking at the extension, let's just answer a very interesting question from Sivilai, who says, how does Helium 10, because this is what we're going to be talking about in a second. So how does Helium 10 calculate 30-day sales? Is it based on sales rank drop? And if so, can you just like give her an idea of how she can do it probably manually to understand how to calculate?
So I believe like back in the day, Amazon actually made their algorithm or their information public. And so at the time, Helium 10 came up with an algorithm that we use to actually pull this information. And it's quite accurate, but it's based from that one time that Amazon made their information public. So I wouldn't be able to tell you, I wouldn't be able to teach you how to calculate those 30-day sales based on sales rank drop, but you should be able to access the Chrome extension and just be able to see those 30-day sales as well. Yeah. Okay, so
it's a little bit more complicated.
yeah,
I believe. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Great. Yeah. Let's continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're taking a look at the tension shelf. And the tension shelf, as we saw, has about a search volume of 3,000. It's been in the thousands for a bit. We took a look at the historical graph inside of Black Box, but you can also now see the total revenue for the products listed inside of this keyword, the average revenue, average price point, average bestsellers rank, and the average number of reviews. Now, this two-factor score might show up as stars for you, and that's because if you go into the Chrome extension and you click this cogs function, it's going to let you choose what kind of score you want to see. So do you want to see a two-factor success score, or do you want to see a multi-factor success score? If you do a multi-factor, it's going to show it to you in the format of stars. But if you do a two-factor success score, all this is taking a look at is that very exclusive filter I showed you inside of Helium 10 that's only through Helium 10. It's taking a look at those top 10 positions, and it's telling me how many of those have a revenue over 5,000 or reviews under 75. And you can adjust this number as you would like. So maybe you have a criteria of, hey, I would just want to see a revenue of at least 2,000, but the reviews can be less than 150 or 200. Whatever the case may be, you can put that in, because remember, when you're getting started, you start off with 0 reviews. So you will want to be able to stack up to your competition. This is telling me 2 of the top 10 positions, excluding sponsored, have over 5K in revenue, and less than 8 of them of the top 10 products have less than 75. You also have, those products that we saw, but they're not all necessarily relevant. So I can see that the ones that are actually tension based, this one is a tension shelf. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is click filter, click hide sponsored products from results, and maybe type in tension for the actual keyword search. And what that will do is it'll even out my information for me. And now I'm only looking at the ones that are tension shelves. And as you can see, I have this, let's go ahead and sort by sales as well. So we have a variety in price point, right? These are the individual ones. They're not like the I do really like this one. This one seems like it's newer, it's interesting. They're not individual rods. It's a little bit higher in price point, and it's still doing 1,699 in sales. Let's check out the sales graph of that. Okay, it's
Interesting.
been yeah, it's up and down, but it has been doing quite a few units. Like check this out.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
really peaked at some point too. So it has pretty set tension shelf on a regular basis. It's 42 in revenue. You can also see things inside of X-ray like the active number of sellers. So this one, there's
Hmm.
27 sellers. This is a good point of
Hmm.
why in black box maybe you want to max it out at 2 if you're finding private label products. This is something
Hmm.
that people are probably are flipping, but there are Chinese sellers as well. So it's interesting. You have a $9.85 FBA fee for that product, a review rating of only 4, but there's 4,700 reviews. But as you can see, this is the only kind of tension shelf, really, outside of this white one right here that has 1,000 in reviews. The rest are a little bit lower. But you have it listed when 2018. Okay, it's been around for some time, which is why it probably has thousands of reviews. But it's
Yeah.
fascinating that this product, maybe it's because these two have a lot of reviews that nobody is in this market. You can go into this
Hmm.
market and say, all right, with the tension shelf, what else are the people that are going to purchase the tension shelf actually going to be looking for? Maybe
Hmm.
it's not just going to be one tension shelf. Maybe instead of this this being one, right? I'm thinking about a cupboard. And my cupboard, I'm going to want several of them. So maybe I start thinking, maybe I'll come out onto this market and come out with a pack of like 2 or 3 of these. And it'll be
Hmm.
priced a lot higher, but then these people will be able to get all of that in one go. Or you can say, there's too many reviews of this and they've been established for a while. I don't necessarily want to go into this, and you can eliminate this product. So it really depends on how you want to see it, what kind of risks you're willing to take. Of course, you want to mitigate your risk, but it is something to be mindful of that sometimes you can find something that you think is saturated. And if you come at it with a different angle, it can really do well as well. Um, what else? So we talked a
Are
little
you
bit about
also able, Shivali, to potentially maybe eliminate the product once you get to the point of finding a supplier? So maybe the product, so that is also a level or a stage where you might eliminate some of the products. So if you come in
yes.
and you've got a bunch of ideas and then you start searching for suppliers and get accurate pricing, then at that point you're also going to
Mhm.
narrow down all of those products because potentially you're going to find that you're not going to be profitable as well.
Yes, 100%. So there are, again, many ways to validate that product idea, but you will want to be able to check as many of them off as possible. So what you just said about profitability, of course, is the foundational piece because you don't want to be in
Exactly.
business if it's not actually cash flow positive. And so you will want to actually open this information up inside, let's say find a tension shelf for uh inside of Alibaba, check out what it's sourcing for. I'm opening up this donut pillow for tailbone pain here too, just so we can get a feel. But you'll want to
Mhm,
actually check these out inside of Alibaba and see what they're
mhm.
sourcing for. So let's say I were to go into Alibaba.com and let's just type in tension shelf for the heck of it. And then this is, of course, if you are sourcing, if you're planning to source in China, you can source in other places as well. You can source in India, you can source in Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand. It really depends on your product. There are many other platforms outside of Alibaba as well, but Alibaba is a
Mhm.
great place that you can go just to get a feel for the initial price point. Now, as you can see,
Exactly.
this right here is ready to ship, and let's say I was like, all right, you know what? I want to get into this market right now. It's already ready to ship. Maybe I just want
Yeah.
to add some branding. I want to add some packaging for my own brand. I want to add maybe a product insert, and so then I'm ready. But then this is saying $8 to 25. That's quite the range. So maybe you want to message the supplier. You see that they have a 5-star rating. They're verified.
Mhm.
I recommend that you even go in and click trade assurance just so you're covered and a verified supplier, so you know you're
Yeah.
working with somebody that's been on there for a while. But yeah, you can go in and ask, all right, well, like, how much is it for two of those? As we said, maybe we want to go in with a pack of two as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
one and see what it'll cost you. Maybe the $8 is like for the standard set with nothing involved. But if I want to add a custom box, maybe I want to add the product insert and then I want to add a secondary, then it might end up being like 16 bucks. And
Mm-hmm.
16 times 100 units, maybe that's doable for you, but 16 times 500 units might not be. So then you can say, all right, well, that's too high for my actual price, for my budget, and I'm going to eliminate this product because your
Yeah.
budget is not just going to go for this product alone. It's also going to have to include your shipping costs. It's going to have to include your inspection. It's going to have to include your website that you build for social proof. So just keep in mind that there's additional fees, and you will want to go for a product pricing that is even after you've ordered the 100 quantity or the 500 quantity, whatever you began with, right? That you are still maybe only like one third or one fourth of your price in for your budget. Going down, let's see if there's anything else. I'm very surprised. Oh, here we go. Okay, so these are plastic, it looks like, right? They look like plastic. It's interesting, but they're only 3
Mm-hmm.
bucks. So
Yeah.
what if instead of the tension shelves here, I looked at it and I said, all right, well maybe I want to go in with these colored tension shelves
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
they're black and white right now. So then I could say, all
Yeah.
right, well these are only 3 bucks. This, if I put in branding and whatnot, it has a 200 piece minimum order quantity, so you need to
Mm-hmm.
have 200 at least placed to work with the supplier. Sometimes you can reach out and say, hey, I want to build a long term thing, but I just want to order 100 to start. Um, if that's, maybe you can't work with the minimum order quantity they've asked you for
Mm-hmm.
because maybe they're asking 1,000 or again, it's over your price
Yeah.
range. You can try to ask. You never know unless you try, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you can go ahead and ask, but this is obviously going to cost us a little bit less. So let's say like we decided to run with the colored version of this, and we said, okay, it's going to cost us about $6 after the custom branding and all that stuff. Then what I could do is I'm going to go ahead and this one was, yes, the white one. Okay. So we'll open this one up, click Chrome extension, and then click the profitability calculator. Oh, this right here, you have a price range of $20 with a unit manufacturing cost of 5. I'm going to just up that to like 7 for safety reasons. And then let's say because the dimensions are fine, maybe because it's plastic, or weight is only a pound or something. You can play around with it.
Probably.
All right. That's the whole
You can
point
play
of it.
around. Yeah.
Yeah. So go in, change your dimensions, take a look at what your net profit margin might be or your ROI per unit is, and get a feel for what you might make for this product. Maybe I think, all right, my manufacturing cost is maybe it's not 7. What if I end up like, what's my budget here? This is too much. Like I'm not gonna make any money. It's not worth all that trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna want a built-in margin. Like your margin should actually um I would say you would want to like 40% or so because just in case you're gonna have the expenses and then advertising fees that you'll have to account for. And so it's nice just to have a little bit thicker of a margin. All right. Keep that in. So profitability, how you stack up with your competition. Oh, I need to plug in my computer. Um,
Mm-hmm.
before I say bye-bye to you guys without meaning to. All right. Okay. Plugged in. Yeah, so you will want to make sure that it's profitable, that you can stack up with the competition, that there's maybe in those top 10 positions. Some of your competitors don't have the most reviews, maybe they have less than 150 reviews, that you can actually add something to the space that's different or valuable to your consumer.
Mm-hmm.
One way I can figure out what might be valuable is this has 4,716 reviews. I can go into the Chrome extension and click Review Insights, and it's actually going to pull information
Mm-hmm.
for me and tell me what the distribution of the reviews is. Yes, which you can find on the regular Amazon page too, but this is going to
Mm-hmm.
dissect it a lot further. So now you can find what are people talking about the most, and what are the most helpful reviews. So from all of those, it's now going to categorize by the number of people that found it helpful, and you can start reading about what really appealed to them. So here, for example, it says, "Let me explain how to put it together." I was worried this would be flimsy. So when I'm making my product, I want to make sure that even if it's plastic, even if it's colored, it's still going to be super easy to put together, and it's not going to be flimsy. It can carry a lot of weight. And here, what else does it have? So this is wonderful. I don't think I have ever bought anything this that worked this well. Make sure you do your
These are
measurements.
awesome reviews. Yeah.
Yeah, right? These are awesome. So maybe I say, "Oh, this is really putting me down. I want to find something that I
Yeah.
can make better for this product," right? You can go into these negative reviews,
Mhm.
and here it says, "I'm a bit
There you go.
disappointed, but on the fence on how to rate this. I got this because the wall and metal that this rests on is still not sticking to it." So this is really important,
Mm.
right? You can't even use the product if this doesn't work. The description said that the ends have anti-slip pads, but that is not true. The ends are just plastic, and they are slipping even on a tight grip. Photos and description are misleading. Only the two outer rods extend on your shelf. So check this out. This is not only amazing for building your product. Now you can go in and say, all right, I need the ends to have anti slip pads. I need it
Mhm.
to stick to the wall because that's really important. I need it to be able to carry maybe 20-pound weight or whatever. And then when you're making your photos and your description, you're going to want to clarify this
Yeah.
information.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I was talking to my friend Emma, who is a beast at listing optimization, and she was telling me that you have to approach each of these items on your product page as a standalone. And that means your product imaging. You have to assume that your consumer is not going to look at anything else on that page. They're only going to look at the
Mhm.
photos and then decide if they want to buy it. So that means if I go in, is it going to tell me enough about the product about how to use it? Well, not really, right? Because this is not entirely telling me how to, okay, this
Mhm.
is telling me the installation steps, which is
Mhm.
good. So it can convince me that, all right, I know how to put this on at least. But then it's remember that the piece about the anti slip pads? Well,
Mhm.
maybe draw attention to that because you know it's in the reviews. So you're going to want to add attention to that. You're going to want to add attention to, for example, how much weight does it hold? There are so many different
Yes.
things that the imaging on this product could do better. And you
Mhm.
learn that how? I just found out about this product. Crystal just found out about this product, but we learned this through the review insights, right? So just
Yeah.
something to think about. And the same thing applies for your bullet points. You have to assume that when they're reading the bullet points, your consumers aren't going to look at the photos. They're not going to look at the product description. They're not going to look at the title. They're only going to look at this. And you have to convince them or give them enough information to actually be able to purchase. And let's see if they have some A plus content. Nope, they have a product description. So they're not even
Yeah.
utilizing this, and you would be able to
Perfect.
go in, and
And
if you
they're
make
doing
like
that. Skills.
14,
Good.
right, you
Yeah.
make 14 pieces of A plus content, I believe you can go ahead and upload it together. So just
Mhm.
be really mindful that you should be able to leverage the information that's provided already through other listings to make yours
Mhm.
even better, even more amazing, and provide a really good case. This one, yeah, it has 4,716 ratings, but the actual reviews are not that great, and the images could actually be a lot better. So go in and actually take a look at Black Box, find 15 to 20 product ideas that you think might work, and then start going deeper. Find out, is it profitable? Is there something you could do better? Is it differentiable? What value can you add to that? Is there maybe something that you can add with the extension pads? Maybe with, yes, this comes with anti-slip pads, but why not throw in a couple extra anti-slip pads alongside maybe a
Mhm.
product insert
Mhm.
for warranty? It's
Yeah,
it's
you
like
can
the
use them
small
again. Yeah.
things,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's the small things that really go a long way for your consumer. And going back into the tension shelf, something else you can also do is start looking at those keywords. So if I were to go in and let's say I just clicked 3 of these, this gives me a couple options here. You can click Run Cerebro or Run Listing Analyzer. And if I go into Listing Analyzer, I'll go ahead and open up both actually here. And Cerebro, if how many of you guys have used Cerebro? let me know in the chat. But if you have not, it's a reverse ASIN research tool, meaning you take the ASIN for a given product, so this right here, and paste it in, and you can do a single search or a multi-ASIN search. I did a multi-ASIN search, and
Mm-hmm.
accordingly, it will give you different filters if you put in one or multiple, but it will show you all the keywords associated to those products. So we have about 3,812 filtered keywords for these three ASINs I selected, which are shown to you right here. It tells me the keyword distribution of organic, paid, and then any sort of Amazon recommended will be shown to you down here as well as a match type, because that's where we're pulling the information from: organic, sponsored, and Amazon recommended. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have the word frequency. So in all of these keywords, which words are being utilized the most by consumers when they're typing them in. And so you can start kind of gathering some data here for either figuring out, when you're still in product research phase, of, are there actually keywords outside of tension shelf that I will want to rank for? Meaning,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, tension shelf looks good, but if that's the only keyword, right, that I can do well in, then is it really worth it? But then I can also, let's say I already have this product listed, I can go in and start finding keywords for either writing my listing, optimizing my listing, or even my paid advertising campaigns, right? My PPC.
Yeah.
So we have the expandable closet tension shelf, expandable shelving, closet tension shelf storage rack. And then, not all of these have the greatest search volume. So you can always go back in the same way that we did the black box, you can go in and narrow this down according to what you're looking for. So maybe you're looking for words that are starting to pick up in trend, or maybe you want a certain number of people searching for it every month, or you want to even say a CPR number for if you are running your advertising campaigns. This is how many units you have to give away at a discounted rate over 8 days to be on the top half of page one. Meaning, if I only have a CPR number of 8, it means I have to give away 1 unit or sell 1 unit every single day for 8 days to rank at the top of that keyword that said expandable closet tension shelf. Now, this only has a search volume of 33, so maybe I don't want to put my efforts there. But let's say that I
Exactly.
did want to put my efforts there, or if this was like 1,000 or whatever, then I could go in and, let's say this was like 27 or something. I need to sell 3 to 4 units every single day for 8 days. I can actually
Mm-hmm.
pause my advertising campaigns once
Mm-hmm.
I hit 3 or 4 units every single day. And by the end of day 8, I would be on the top half of page one. So super interesting that you can utilize that. And then you also have other things for your competitors here. So this will tell me how many of my competitors, and competitors being these two, because the first one is actually going to be your seed product. So whenever you're on the actual page, just keep in mind that the first product you hit is going to be your seed product. So it's going to compare the following ones you do to that first product. Meaning, if you already have your listing up, you would want to select your product and then the other ones. But if you don't, then just go ahead and select your primary competitor versus the other ones. And it'll show you your relative rank for these products, meaning, where are these products ranking? These are actually ranking in the top 5 for
Mm-hmm.
all 3 of these ASINs are ranking in the top 5. What does that mean for me? Well, I might want to know or say, hey, my competitors are ranking really well for this. This product must be, or this keyword must be important. Or I can say, well, they're all spending money on this. Maybe I need to find a different product, or not.
Mm-hmm.
I keep confusing the two today. A different keyword to put my
Yeah.
efforts towards. Yeah,
Yeah. Or a different product also.
different product. Yeah,
Could be too competitive. Yeah.
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 And then the competitor performance score is just telling me that, yeah, all my competitors are ranking for this. So then, if I wanted, I could find opportunity keywords or top keywords. So top keywords are the ones that most of my ASINs are actually ranking for. They have a really good competitor performance score. They're ranking really high. Or the opportunity keywords, where maybe I'm saying, hey, you know what? Like 1 to 2 of these ASINs are ranking for it in the top 1 to 50 positions. And then, even though this said 3,812 filtered keywords, I could click apply search, and I'll automatically be able to narrow that 3,000 plus down to 187 filtered keywords. And then let's say I want to find at least 100 search volume, or maybe instead of search volume, I want to see keyword sales. Like, I want to know that there's at least 5, 10 keywords sales happening. I could put that in and click search. But as you saw, we narrowed that down in the second of in seconds, right? From 3,000 to 123 filtered keywords. Now, most of these you'll find are actually pretty relevant because the products that we selected are very similar to the one we want to source. So if your closet tension shelf, your expandable tension shelf, adjustable closet shelf, and you can see that the search volume is maybe not the highest, but it's also not super low either. And you can check out their actual keyword sales right here. So now you can see how many sales are being attributed to each keyword. So that's a pretty easy way for you to find maybe good keywords or listing keywords.
Yeah.
And as you, let's say, I'll just wrap up with this because I know we're hitting time here and you guys had a few questions, but I would want to go through and it's only going to select the keywords on this page. So if I want, I can expand my rows out to, let's say, 150. And if I were interested in these, not all of these are relevant, but I would recommend first narrowing these down based off the filters. And then if you feel like you've gotten to a good place where you can go in and actually open it up and take a look and see if it's something you want to keep or not, you can go in and let's say I found something like easy shelf. I can delete this as well. And you'll want to go through and only keep the ones that are super relevant or you feel like you will want to make use of. Highlight them, click add to my list. You can create a folder if you want and type in any folder name that you want. And then as you go through, you can find that folder again once you've created it and just add it to that actual list. All right. You can do the same thing inside of Magnet, which is our keyword for keyword search tool. So that means instead of product ASINs, you put in keywords. And then you can find those keywords underneath my list. That means that later on, when you're building out your listing, you can go into Listing Builder. I'm not going to cover this today, but the Listing Builder will allow you to actually just build out that listing right next to, right from the list you created. So let's say that I had created that folder. I would just click Add to Bank. It would show up here. You can also manually add keywords or get keyword suggestions. Click next, and then you would have it color coded. So that way, when you're writing your listing, you'll know exactly which keywords and key phrases are being used alongside its generated search volume. So hopefully
Very
you
smart.
have learned quite a bit today. It's a pretty, I know I threw a lot of information at you guys, and hopefully you were following along or you were trying it or you think you're going to go back and rewatch this and actually stop and pause and do it
Yes.
as well.
Do it
But
along
yeah,
what follow what you were doing as well.
yes, exactly. So hopefully you're able to
Uh,
learn something and go ahead, Crystal. I'll let you have the floor since I've
Yeah,
been
sorry,
talking my
Shivali.
face off.
So, a question from Shivan, because we get this question a lot. I'm sure you neither, nobody knows. I'm sure you don't have the answer, but like, when is Helium 10 coming to Saudi Arabia? It took us quite some time to get Helium 10 to the UAE, and now we want it everywhere. So, when do you think, are there any plans? Are there any dates?
So I don't know entirely if there's any dates, but I know that some of our tools, like for example, alerts and inventory protector and refund genie and profits, and listing builder, like you should be able to use those even if you're in Saudi Arabia. So not all of our tools are there, I know, but you know what? That's a really great question, and what I can do is definitely reach out to our team and ask, and then let Crystal know, and hopefully she can relay that information to you guys.
So one of the main things and one of the main reasons why so I was on the podcast with Bradley, and one of the main reasons why Helium 10 decided to expand to the UAE is because they started getting so many emails from a lot of and messages and stuff
Yes.
from a lot of sellers in the UAE that were interested. So that's also something that you can do, Shivan, and anyone that wants Helium 10 in their market, just go ahead and bombard Helium 10 with messages so that they know there's a lot of demand. Not just you, like ask
Yeah.
everyone that you know to send messages. Shivali, does Helium 10 have a free month trial, and is it for 3 months
So
or a
as
free
far
trial rather? Yeah,
you you said a free trial.
yeah,
So
free trial. Sorry, I said a free month trial, but I meant free trial. Yeah.
so I don't believe we have a free trial, but we do have a starter plan. And the starter plan still includes quite a bit of our tools. So you can go through, and I feel like if you're just beginning, it's still good enough for you to get experience with the tools and use it to your advantage. So maybe you can go in and just take a look at the starter plan. If you go to our plans and pricing page, it'll tell you exactly what's included. So if it fits the bill for you, then maybe that will be the best option.
Perfect. Shivali, my last question is, as you know, we get this a lot, and I do ask you this question every time. A lot of people always wonder which marketplace that they should get started in, especially if like they're very new to Amazon. Should they set their sights on Amazon.com? Is Amazon UAE the right market for them if they live in the UAE? I know you have experience everywhere, and you've met so many sellers. So, any insights?
So I know that the US marketplace is the dominating one. A lot of traffic's there. I mean, it's really popular in the US. Even when I'm talking to friends, family, everyone always purchases from Amazon. It's really, really, really popular. So I do believe it's the most prevalent market. After that, I believe it's like I don't know if this is in the right order, but I know that the Japan, I think it's Germany, UK, and the Japanese market are the next big ones. Doesn't mean that you can't sell in the UAE or in Spain or in France. Those markets still, have potential. But the thing is maybe you can look at that one of two ways. You can say, all right, well, I would rather sell close to home if you're based in the UAE, and that is absolutely okay. Maybe at some point it'll take off and you'll be one of those people who invested in Amazon stock way back early, where everyone was
Yeah.
like, "I wish I got in." Or it's like the 2012 of Amazon USA. So maybe,
Mm.
that could be an opportunity for you to get ahead. Or you can look at it and say, all right, you know what? I want to actually just go into a marketplace, get some experience in the US market. So that way I'm established and then I can expand out and build my brand globally and expand into the UAE after. So it really depends on what you want to do. I would recommend, if you're not entirely sure, maybe you want to do research in the US market and the UAE market, see what's out there, and then sort of make your decision based off the data that you're really seeing inside of Helium 10.
Thanks so much, Shivali. Thank you for
Yeah.
all your time and all your insights. Thanks for everyone who joined us live. And I hope we'll be able to have another session soon.
Yes, likewise. Likewise. It's always a blast. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.